Color guard, attention. Color guard, forward march. Color guard, halt. Prepare to post the colors. Audience, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Please join me in the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. 2. Color guard, post the colors. Color guard, return to ranks. About face. Color guard, retreat. Color guard, halt. Color guard at ease, troop at ease. The audience, please be seated.
Good afternoon. Welcome all on this beautiful day. My name is Steve Wyatt. I am the Scoutmaster of Troop 889. And it's my honor today to be here on behalf of Ethan, Wyatt, Alex Glase, Lucas, Alex Miller, Brindet, and Bronson. I'd like to welcome you all to this Eagle Court of Honor. Many scouts have set out on the trail to Eagle, but few have the perseverance to follow it to its end. These scouts represent 4% of scouts who have achieved the rank of Eagle in the 110-year history of the BSA. We are here this afternoon to honor this great achievement. I would like now to introduce Pastor Jen Wilson, Senior Pastor at Wheatland Salem Church, to have her come forward and give the invocation.
God spoke to his people long ago, and he speaks to us today. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their ways, then I will hear from heaven. I will forgive their sin and heal their land. Before you, Almighty God, we come before you as a community where words like trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent are more than words. They're concepts from the soul. We ask that you would bless us with your presence, that as we come together to celebrate, may you bless not only the Scouts themselves, but the families and leaders they represent. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Thank you. The pathway to Eagle can be described as a steep trail leading up to 3 peaks, the highest being that of Eagle Scout. Officially, the trail starts with the rank of Scout and continues through Tenderfoot, second, and first class. Then the mountain climbing begins. The path is marked with merit badges, leadership responsibilities, service projects, and the practice of scouting skills and ideals. The first peak reached is that of Star Scout, the second as of Life, and finally Eagle Scout. Would the Eagle Scouts here please join me up front? That would be honored today. All right. In scouting, as in most activities, there are rules. The rules of scouting are found in the 12 points of the Scout Law. As a candle is lit for each point of the Scout Law, let us carefully pay attention to these words and rededicate ourselves to the principles contained in these words. Trustworthy. A Scout is trustworthy. A Scout tells the truth. He keeps his promises. Honesty is part of his code of conduct. Scout is loyal. A Scout is true to his family, his friends, Scout leaders, his school, his nation, and the world community. Scout is helpful. A Scout is concerned with other people. He willingly volunteers to help others without expecting payment or reward. Scout is friendly. A Scout is a friend to all. He is a brother to other Scouts. He seeks to understand others. He respects those with ideas and customs that are different than his own. A Scout is courteous. A Scout is polite to everyone, regardless of age or position. He knows good manners, makes it easier for people to get along. A Scout is obedient. A Scout follows the rules of his family, school, and troop. He obeys the laws of his community and country. If he thinks these rules and laws are unfair, he tries to have them changed in an orderly manner rather than disobey them. A Scout is kind. A Scout understands there is strength in being gentle. He treats others as he wants to be treated. He does not harm or kill without reason. A Scout is cheerful. A Scout looks for the bright side of life. He cheerfully does tasks that come his way. He tries to make others happy. A Scout is thrifty. A Scout works to pay his way and help others. He saves for the future. He protects and conserves natural resources. He carefully uses his time and property. A Scout is brave. A Scout can face danger even when he is afraid. He has the courage to stand for what he thinks is right, even if others laugh at him or threaten him. A Scout is clean. A Scout keeps his body and mind fit and clean. He goes around with those who believe in living by these same ideals. He helps home and community keeping them clean. And finally, a Scout is reverent. A Scout is reverent toward God. He is faithful in his religious duties. He is faithful to his family, and he respects the beliefs of others.
All right, Ethan, Wyatt, Alex Glase, Lucas, Alex Miller, Brindet, and Bronson, please remain up front. All Eagles in the audience, please stand. The foremost responsibility of an Eagle Scout is to live with honor. To an Eagle Scout, honor is the foundation of all character. He knows that a Scout is trustworthy. It is the very first point of the Scout law for a good reason. An Eagle Scout lives honorably, not only because honor is important to him, because it is a vital significance of the example he sets for other Scouts. Live honorably reflects credit of his home, his church, his troop, and his community. May the white of an Eagle badge remind you to always live in honor. The second obligation of an Eagle Scout is loyalty. A Scout is true to his family, Scout leaders, friends, obligation, school, and nation. His loyalty to his troop and brothers Scouts makes him pitch in and carry his share of the load. All of these are to build the loyalty which he means devotion to the community, to a country, to one's ideals, and to God. Let the blue of the Eagle badge always inspire your loyalty. The third obligation of an Eagle Scout is to be courageous. Courage has always been a quality in which men measure themselves to others. To a Scout, bravery means only to courage to face physical danger, but the determination to stand up for the right, trusting in God with faith in his fellow man. He looks forward to each day, seeking a share of the world's work to do. Let the red of the Eagle badge remind you always of courage. The fourth obligation of an Eagle Scout is to be cheerful. To remind Eagle Scouts to always wear a smile. The red, the white, and the blue is attached to the scroll of the second-class Scout Award, which has in the end turned up in a smile. The final responsibility of an Eagle Scout is service. The Eagle Scout extends a helping hand to those still toil up Scouting's trail. Just as others helped him in his climb to Eagle, the performance of the daily good turn takes on a new meaning when others enter a more adult life continuing service to others. The Eagle stands as a protector of the weak and helpless. He aids and comforts the unfortunate and oppressed. He upholds the right of others while defending his own. He will always be prepared to put his best forth his best. He deserves much credit for having achieved Scouting's highest award. But wear your award with humility, even mindful that Eagle Scouts are looked up on for example. May the Scout Oath and Scout Law be your guide for tomorrow and onward. Remember, you have earned the badge, but now it's what you do with it.
Will all Eagle Scouts please come forward and line up behind Ethan, Wyatt, Alex, Glase, Lucas, Alex Miller, Brindet, and Bronson. Your conduct along the trail has been excellent. You have been rededicated yourself to the principles of Scouting. But one more thing is important, your future. As an Eagle Scout, you become a guide to other Scouts of lower rank. You become an example in your community. Remember that your actions are now a little more conspicuous and people will expect more of you. To falter in your responsibility would not only reflect upon you, but on your fellow Eagles and all Scouting. The torch you carry is not only yours, but is ours also. I challenge you, Ethan, Wyatt, Alex Glase, Lucas, Alex Miller, Brindet, and Bronson, to enter this Eagle Brotherhood, holding ever before you, without reservation, the ideals of honor and service. By the repetition of the Eagle Scout promise before your fellow members, you would become an Eagle Scout. Though the words you use are similar to those by which you joined to Scouting, they will mean more now than they could have meant at any time in the past. When you pledge yourself on your sacred honor, you will be sealing your eternal loyalty to the code of the Eagle Scout with the words which close the Declaration of Independence. Scout, parents, and guests, please stand. Scouts, please make the Scout sign and repeat after me. I affirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of the rank of Eagle Scout. And this is for the Eagle Scouts to repeat. On my honor, I will do my best to take my training and example, my rank and my influence Scout strongly, for better Scouting, and for better citizenship in my troop, and in my community and in my contacts with other people. To this, I pledge my sacred honor. Two. Everyone but Ethan, Wyatt, Alex Glase, Lucas, Alex Miller, Brindet, and Bronson may be seated. By the authority vested in me by the National Court of Honor and by the Boy Scouts of America, it is my privilege and pleasure to pronounce all of you Eagle Scouts. By the oath you have taken, remain graven in your heart forever. At this time, would Mr. Willett please come forward for the presentation of the Eagle Awards.
Will the parents of Ethan, Wyatt, Alex, Lucas, Alex, Bryn, Bronson, please come forward. The Magnificent Seven, I'm going to just say that from now. I have the honor and pleasure of recognizing the Magnificent Seven for the rank of Eagle Scout. This is an important and serious matter. The parents and scout leaders of Ethan, Wyatt, Alex, Lucas, Alex, Brindet, and Bronson have labored long and faithfully to guide their scouts towards alert and participating citizenship through the Boy Scout program. Their efforts accumulate today in the presentation of the Eagle Award. The Boy Scout movement constitutes one of the most wholesome and significant developments of our day. These scouts have worked in the troop, school, church, and community We found that they have demonstrated this ability in activities that are constructive and worthwhile. We believe that they qualify for the Eagle rank. Last and most importantly is the character of these candidates. It was our finding that these candidates are endeavoring to put into daily practice the principles of the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. This includes integrity and honor. We believe they qualified as Eagle Scouts and that they will continue those habits of conduct in the future. In recognition of your parents' advice and guidance, which you all listen to all the time, along the trail of the Eagle rank, I will ask your mom and dad to assist in the pinning of the Eagle badge to the uniforms. All right. Scouts, no one will ever know the unnumbered acts of self-sacrifice from your mother. In recognition of her devotion, the court will now ask you to present her with the miniature eagle pin. It is also customary to give your mother an eagle kiss. If anyone wants to come up and snap a picture, please do. All right. Your father has also been with you along the scouting trail. In recognition of your father's support, please present him with the Eagle Scouts father pin. Some of you may also have grandparent pins that have had their support and guidance along the way now. Do we have some grandparent pins? All right. Lucas? At this point, I'd like to invite the Scouts have any mentor pins to present. They can step forward and call them.
JT.
It's all good, JT.
You aren't JT.
For my mentor pins, I'm giving mine to Mr. Pingle and Chandler Pingle for introducing me to Boy Scouts.
My mentor pin will be going to Mr. Miller for being one of my oldest scout leaders for pretty much as long as I can remember.
My mentor pins will be going to Mr. Mersman, Mr. Higgins, and my dad.
I'd like to give my mentor pin to Mr. Ouellette for being there for me all the way from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts.
I'd like to give the mentor pin to my father. He helped me plan out my route to Eagle, even though I started a few years late. Thank you.
Wow.
So what does it take to be an Eagle Scout? You've heard many things, the Scout Law, the Scout Oath. One of the biggest things they have to do is do a project. This project is not about how big the project is, it's about the leadership, the planning, the learning how to talk with adults, negotiating prices, donations, and anything else you need, organizing the event. It's basically project management, which is a skill they're going to carry through them for the rest of their lives. So this time we'll just start with Bronson. He can come up and start talk about his project.
So in 2018, I along with a few other scouts here, went to Tanzania, in which we climbed Kilimanjaro. It's there we got to see a bunch of the Africans there, how they live their day-to-day lives. One of the things I noticed as I was looking through my Eagle project is that in that area they suffer from something called jiggers. No, not chiggers. This starts with a J. These are insects that burrow into their feet, making it near impossible to work, walk, even do basic things like play. So one of the things I did, I wanted to give back to the people of Africa. So what I did was we gathered a bunch of denim jeans, a few hundred, and we cut them up and turned them into shoes. So that way the people there they could wear them and prevent jiggers from burrowing into their feet. To thank for this, I'd like to thank a bunch of the scouts, such as Joey and Alex, who joined me on this project, especially during the COVID season. Thank you both for that. I also like to thank my parents for helping me set everything up, helping me double check everything, and I also thank the other adult leaders who came by to support me in this project. Thank you all.
So I had my life badge, and I was just kind of like waiting around looking to see what kind of project I would do. And then the COVID pandemic hit, and I realized now that this has happened, there's a lot of people who are out of work and therefore unable to provide food for their family. So I thought, well, we could organize like a sort of food drive. But the problem is at that time, the COVID-19 was still really new, so no one really knew like how dangerous it was, and it was still quite scary. So I had the idea of like, let's say, do like a food drive-through so that people could have a contactless way to donate food to people who need it. I decided to partner with a local elementary school called Irene King Elementary School, who gets their food from West Suburban Food Pantry. So what we did is we organized an event at Wheatland Salem Church where anyone could come by and drop off food, and we would take it from their car and load onto a truck that they would take it to help these elementary schoolers. So it really worked out well, and I have to say I have to thank my parents, my family, April Basic for being the person to contact, who was always happy to help me like go through the process and be of use. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, so for my project, I built convertible benches that when you could have a regular bench or you can flip them both together and they become a picnic table. So I built them for Wheatland Salem Church, which is where we both hold our troop meetings and where like a bunch of youth groups and Cub Scout packs also meet as well. So they can serve as multi-purpose, so if they want benches, they can be moved around and put as benches, or if someone wants to eat, they can flip them together and they turn into a picnic table. So I built those for the church. And yeah, I want to thank everyone who supported me through that, especially like the scouts that showed up, my family, my parents for just pushing me to do it and helped me find better ideas with the project overall. Thank the church for allowing me to do the project, and just everybody overall for supporting me. Thank you.
So for my project, at my church, Faith Lutheran Church, our garbage disposal area was in dire need of repair, so I helped make a new enclosure for the first time in 16-ish years. And so it now matches the garage that is right next to the garbage dumpster. And so I would like to thank all the scouts who have helped me out throughout my years, all the adult leaders, my parents, especially Mr. Vansbach, for helping me out with the project.
Hello, guys. I know you guys hear me all the time, but today I'd like to tell you about my Eagle Scout project. When I was 15, I realized I had a passion for two things: veterans and dogs. I have quite a few family members and friends who have honorably served in our country in the United States military. So I started searching for charity organizations whose primary purpose is to provide animals to veterans. I found this amazing organization called Pets for Vets and learned that they have Chicagoland chapter. The organization matches veterans who have service-related illnesses and injuries with dogs trained to provide companionship and support. Unfortunately, after receiving a dog, veterans often need to go and purchase supplies to care for the animal they just received. So I approached Pets for Vets, and I said, I approached Pets for Vets for assembling supply kits that they could provide to the veterans with everything they need to care for their animal. During my project, I reached out to over 100 national dog supply manufacturers, wholesalers, distributors, and retailers requesting donations of new dog supply products, and the response was absolutely overwhelming. I'm telling you, it was just a lot. I raised over $22,000 worth of supplies, and we assembled more than 50 supply kits and quite a few other pet products for donations to veterans receiving their dogs from Pets for Vets. I'd like to personally dedicate this project to my great-grandfather, Captain Walter Miller of the United States Navy, Captain David Draz, the United States Navy, and Ron Smith, one of the United States Navy's very first frogmen, all of who served this country with incredible honor and valor. I'd also like to thank everyone in this corner over here. They have done everything. My older brother especially, because my older brother is the one who made me, who helped me get to the place I want to be today. Thank you.
So when I was looking for a project, I knew that I wanted to do something to help veterans and people that have served our country. And as I was doing my research, I learned that veterans specifically have one of the highest rates of homelessness of any demographic in our country. And I found that to be, really, really hurtful because they served our country and yet they weren't given opportunity to kind of land back on their feet once they arrived back in the United States. And so I started looking for organizations that serve that issue, and I found the Midwest Shelter for Homeless Veterans. What this organization does is they provide transitional housing for veterans that are transitioning out of homelessness. So it's not just like feeding the homeless and things like that, but it's actually giving an opportunity for veterans that are transitioning out of homelessness to land back on their feet, provide them with free food if necessary, cheaper housing, things like that. And I found that to be a really worthwhile cause. And so I contacted the organization, and they decided that they wanted me to build locker boxes for one of the houses that housed 6 veterans transitioning out of homelessness. And these locker boxes would be used to store their personal items and valuables while they lived in the house as they were kind of getting back on their feet. And I would like to thank all of the scout and adult volunteers that came and helped with the project because they really made it possible. I would like to thank all of our troop leaders for pushing all of the scouts to kind of go ahead and venture out on our own and move forward with our projects and our scouting adventures. I'd like to thank my parents. My mother is incredibly, she pushes me a lot to do things. Sometimes, it kind of gets on my nerves, but I very much appreciate all of it because without that, I would not have gotten as far as I have in life. I'd like to thank my dad for a lot of the moral support and logistical support that he's provided. I'd like to thank my older brother. He's probably the one that influenced my parents to put me in Scouts in the first place because he did it. And I would like to thank everyone else that has helped me throughout this entire endeavor. Thank you so much.
For my project, I built a couple of horse obstacles for the DuPage Forest Preserve. To be more specific, those are for training young horses who are kind of skittish and not used to moving around obstacles and stuff to be more used to that and teach them certain skills. A big thanks to Wayne Zeininger and Samantha Miller, who are not here, but were big instrumental parts of my project. They're from the Forest Preserve, and they pretty much orchestrated my project on that end. A big thanks also to my parents for orchestrating the project day, and all the Scouts that came out to help were a great help. And special thanks to Jonathan back there for coming on the second day when we didn't finish on the first day to help finish out the project. And thanks to my brother for being a help during the project day as well.
All right. So this is the moment I've been kind of looking for a long while. So y'all can just take a step back here. When I first became Scoutmaster 3 years ago, one of my first duties was to preside over an Eagle Court of Honor. Very similar to this. As the time went on, I continued this duty, but to me, this one is the most special. Not because those before these 7 were not less deserving, but because I'd barely gotten to know those Scouts when I first became Scoutmaster. One of them even had to ask who the Scoutmaster was to get a signature, because when they get to the end of the senior, so much is going on, they're not around as much. I didn't get to know them as well as I've grown to know these Scouts. This group is very much different. These 7 I have known since they were shorter than me. Well, except for Bronson. Bronson's always been taller than me. I got to watch them go on some incredible journeys, from traversing the Boundary Waters, sailing the Florida Keys, traversing Philmont, and summiting Mount Kilimanjaro. Each of these 7 Scouts have forever left me with incredible moments of memories and achievements, learnings and successes. I'd like to share a brief memory of each of these Scouts. Some are funny, some are serious, but my intent is not about embarrassing any one of them, but how these stories tell about their character and how they lived up to the Scout law. Now, I'm not going to say their name at first. And as I tell this story, if they recognize who it is, I'd like them to take a step forward. Told you this is going to be fun. And this is in no particular order. This Scout showed me how old I am. 2 years ago, I was at CFL as an ordeal candidate, and I was doing service along with Mr. Sharp. Now, those who know the OA ordeal candidates have to go through a day of service without talking. Not a problem for me. My favorite memory of this Scout was living up to the Scout law of being helpful by volunteering as an alongamat, basically a guide for those on the ordeal journey. Well, as I was working the wood chipper, which is a long day, especially when you can't talk, I wanted a picture of myself and Mr. Sharp. So I saw this alongamat and I waved him over. He came over, and he said, yes. I grabbed Mr. Sharp, brought him to me, I said, Scout looks at me. He goes, ah. Do you remember Mr. Alex Glase? I will always remember the moment that you showed me my age. The next Scout showed me how brave he was at a camp out. It was dinner time. The adults, Mrs. Mason, Mr. Miller, Mr. Vittis, and I were all preparing the adult dinners because we tend not to try to eat what the Scouts eat because they're learning. And I noticed a patrol was having a huddle. They're all standing around. One looks up over at me, then looks back down in the huddle. And I remember saying to the other leaders with me, this is going to be good. Now, those that know me, I am a person that is pretty quick with a retort. I've very seldom left speechless. So we watch, and then we see a scout kind of lower his head and start shuffling over towards us. He comes up to me and says, Mr. Willett? I said, yes. He goes, we can't find our recipe. Okay. Did you guys bring it with you? Yes. Did you have it when you started preparing dinner? Yes. Do you know where someone put it?
Yes.
We used it to start our charcoal. Here's me. Mr. Brindet? Well, luckily, this day and age, they all have phones. And to be perfectly honest with you, Wyatt wasn't the one that started the charcoal. He was the brave scout that came over to me and owned up to what had happened. Wyatt then led that patrol through their phone, through the steps to make that recipe, and no scout went hungry that night. Great job, Wyatt. My next scout demonstrated cheerfulness while faced with an adverse situation. This was 3 months after I first joined the troop as an assistant scoutmaster. We were at Gerber Scout Camp when I was down at the lakefront completing some adult training. It was Friday. It was free time for the scouts. Nothing's gonna go wrong during free time. Out on the lake were 2 rowboats and a canoe, all filled with 889 scouts. As I was sitting at a table, I heard yelling from the canoe as they're frantically trying to make it to the shore as they're going all across the lake. As they get closer, I heard, "Emergency in the rowboat, emergency in the rowboat." Anybody want to step forward for this one? Here we go. So what happened, and then I watch, and as they get out there, the rowboats are slowly, the lifeguards go running out, they jump in the boat, they're moving. They get out there, I'm watching. It's because I know that the only people in the rowboats are 889 boys. This is gonna be interesting. But they're slowly coming back to shore, so I'm like, okay, this can't be too bad. The rowboat, they can't go in Australia because they're just laughing too hard. They're all just, in tears, they're laughing so hard. They're cheerful, right? So, Bryn was fishing with another scout. The other scout was in front of Bryn. Bryn was behind him, and the other scout went back, and he hooked a Bryn with the fish hook right there. Yeah, and it was the story. It was the highlight of summer camp. I mean, it was at Bryn. I blame Jupiter. Well, we all blame Jupiter, but it was still funny how you handled yourself with calm, with poise, and just joking and being cheerful about the whole event was just truly amazing.
Here we go.
My next scout embodies many points of the scout law. Friendly, kind, cheerful, but mostly the most courteous scout I've ever met. He always treated everyone he encountered with a friendly smile and a cheerful hello, and then listened attentively to what they said. This scout perseveres no matter the situation. The most amazing thing is that all of the 7 Eagles standing up here, he had the least amount of scouting experience. This scout was not even a Cub Scout. This scout joined when he was in high school, 3 years after most traditional scouts would join. If he would step forward, I think he knows who he is. My favorite memories of Bronson is listening to him talk about his experience on Mount Kilimanjaro and the World Jamboree, and how it inspired, Mount Kilimanjaro inspired his Eagle Project. He saw those in need, and he had a drive and a desire, especially during COVID, to get them what they needed. It wasn't going to stop him. Bronson, your courteousness, drive, and perseverance is the thing that I'll remember most about you. Getting down to the last few here. It's apt that two of them are standing next to each other. And we have something called cheerful service. Basically a scout who willingly completes tasks or helps others without complaints. There was one scout who I first noticed when I joined who was always helpful. He was the first to a meeting and he was the last to leave, often helping to clean up, put away tents and anything else that needed to be done. Now, it took me a while as I was still learning the people in the troop, but I finally came to the realization he's what we called a voluntold scout. I saw someone mention in a committee meeting about having something that needed to be done, and a committee member said, I will have this person do it. Do we know who this is yet? So, and it kind of applies to both of them, but it's more to the mother that was on the committee. It all made sense. But in serious, there were numerous times I saw Lucas cheerfully step up and volunteer without the prodding of mom. He didn't need it. He was always there helpful and cheerful to those around him. My next scout has the distinction of forever being one of my ex-scouts. For some reason at summer camp last year, 3 of my older scouts decided they wanted to cut some firewood. And it became a competition between the 3 of them. Who could cut the most wood? By the end of camp, I think we had enough firewood for the whole camp for the whole summer. And I think we lit one fire the whole time. Now, the adults were sitting in camp as these 3 scouts went off to do whatever they're doing, merit badges or activities. And probably the jet skis, you're probably right. And as we're sitting there, me, Mr. Miller, and a couple others sitting there, here comes the scoutmaster for another troop down the path and says, there's an axe lying on the ground right there, because their axe yard was right by the road. Well, being scoutmasters and leaders, opportunity for learning, right? So we took the axe and we locked it up. Of course, 3 of them come back to camp and they're just like, we're gonna cut some more firewood. Start walking around. And I hear one of them say, I think we lost our axe privileges. So then one walks up to the trailer, Jupiter walks up to the trailer and doesn't find it. He's walking back. Alex says, or Lucas, I don't remember who said it, goes, did you find the axe? Jupiter, do you see it in my hands? At this point, Alex demonstrated loyalty to his friends and took responsibility. Now, we don't know who left the axe out, but Alex decided he would take the fall. Not really the fall, but the learning opportunity. He came up and admitted that, yes, they left the axe on the ground, and could they have it back to cut more wood for God knows what reason. But Alex demonstrated loyalty to his scouts and made sure that they all were able to continue with their chopping. My next scout is one I have a great difficulty in coming up with a story on, simply because I have known him since first grade when he was a Tiger Scout. I've seen him go on many adventures. I've lost count whether it was our 2 trips to the Boundary Waters when he was 8, or to the 5 summer camps. Knowing the scout for these 10 years, the scout law attributed, I relate to him, and obviously it's Ethan, the last one here, is trustworthy. Throughout his scouting years, throughout Cub Scouts, I always saw him mentoring numerous other Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. They trusted him. They looked up to him. He was an SPL for the troop, and they always could count on him. Now, one thing these scouts have to do before they achieve Eagle, and before any rank really, is they have to sit down with the Scoutmaster, and we have to have a Scoutmaster conference. And I think my favorite one ever for the Eagle Scout was with Ethan when we were at Sea Base last year. Most of them it's at a troop meeting. We just take a table, we sit and talk. This one we were sitting on the bow of a sailboat, full sail, just sailing the Atlantic Ocean on a beautiful summer day. That's probably that has to be my favorite one I've ever done. But Ethan, it's been a pleasure. All of you guys, it's been a pleasure watching you grow and develop. Like I said, when I first came in, you were the scouts I got to know the longest. You guys pushed ahead. It was a challenging year, obviously. And you guys didn't let that stop you. You guys are going to do great things in lives. I can speak for everyone here. We're truly proud of what you guys have accomplished. At this time, I'd like to invite the DuPage County Marines Detachment 399.
Good afternoon. My name's Don Kenyon. I'm chaplain for the DuPage County Marines, and I'm also the Eagle Scout chairman. With me today are the Commandant of the DuPage County Marines, Roger Gaydon, and our paymaster and Department of Illinois Adjutant General Victoria Cobbett. The Marine Corps League was founded in August of 1937 and is the only Marine Corps veteran organization that was chartered by an act of Congress. It was chartered by the 75th Congressional and under President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The purpose of the Marine Corps League is to promote the spirit and brotherhood of Marines, as well as to support community and veterans activities. I was delighted to hear that one of our Eagle Scouts picked the Midwest Shelter for Homeless Vets as a project. The two gentlemen who founded the Midwest Shelter, Bob Doc Adams, an FMF corpsman, and Dirk Enger, a Desert Storm Marine combat veteran, are both members of our detachment, and we're very proud of them. Among the things that the organization provides for is supporting various veteran organizations and Eagle Scout programs. We recognize the Eagle Scouts as being a base for the future leadership of this country. And the Marine Corps and Eagle Scouts have a lot in common. For example, the Marines are known as the few and the proud. Will all the Marines here today please stand up? Now you know why we're known as the few and the proud. We also have a lot in common with our slogans. The Marine Corps slogan of Semper Fidelis means always faithful. And an Eagle Scout is always faithful to his family, his community, and the religion that he practices. So we like to recognize what they have accomplished. Only about 4% of the young men joining Scouts and now the young women ever reached the rank of Eagle Scout. So it is quite an honor. And you'll find out, gentlemen, as you go into businesses and go for interviews with employers, when they see on your resume that you're an Eagle Scout, how well you'll be accepted. So today, I'd like to present 2 certificates recognizing the accomplishments. The first certificate is from the Marine Corps League. It's a Good Citizenship Award, and it's presented to the Eagle Scout who has attained the rank of Eagle Scout. This is May 16th, 2021. The second certificate is from the United States Marine Corps and states that the United States Marine Corps takes pleasure in commending the Eagle Scout for a superior achievement in youth excellence exemplified in the highest ideals and traditions of the Boy Scouts of America in recognition of his attainment to the rank of Eagle Scout. Roger, would you come forward with your presentations? When we call your name, raise your hand and
Ethan Dawes. Congratulations. Alexander Miller. Brindet Socrates.
Wyatt Draz. Alexander Glase. And Lucas Mason.
We also have another presentation. This is an officially licensed United States Marine Corps K-bar. It's a fighting knife. The K-bar was used in World War II as the weapon of choice by Marines. At the conclusion of World War II, the Marine Corps and K-bar got together and redesigned the knife to comply with the desires of the Marine Corps. The K-bar has since been used by the Marine Corps, the Navy Underwater Demolition Team, which is now known as the Navy SEALs, many conservationists, and many hunters. It's a very nice weapon to have or to use in your camping experiences. And we are proud to present these as a gift from your families. Again, thank you very much for inviting us to share this moment with you all. And we look forward to participating in other Eagle Scout ceremonies with this troop. Thank you.
All right, we are about to conclude this Court of Honor, but I invite everyone here to take a time in the back. You're going to see some amazing displays set up on these tables of these young men's journey through scouting. All the way back, some from Tigers, some pretty amazing stuff they've done and adventures they've been on. And I'm also told that we have a special video presentation for the parents in the back.
Yes.
So parents, please don't miss that one. All right. At this time, would Pastor Jen please come forward for the benediction?
Would you join me for a prayer? Remember this day. Remember the hours and the time and the commitment dedicated to coming to this moment. We have so few of them, rites of passage. As we have gathered in this space, may it be burned in our mind. May we remember it with our heart. And may the spirit of the scout live and breathe and help us live in a community of faith. As we strive to make our country better, may we strive to make each other stronger. We pray this in Christ's name. Amen.
Would Senior Patrol Leader Joseph Moraski please conduct the closing colors? Honor Guard, please assemble.
Would the audience please rise for the retiring of the colors? Troop attention. Color guard attention. Color guard forward march. Color guard halt. Color guard, prepare to retrieve the colors. Please join me in the Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2. Color guard, retrieve the colors. Color guard, reform. Scout salute. Color guard, about face. Color guard, retreat. Color guard, halt. Color guard at ease, troop at ease.